Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale tips and tricks video. In tonight's video, we are going to be talking about how to win end game or late game in Fortnite, giving some good strategies to finish off those gunfights, as well as position yourself correctly to convert on those wins in Season X. Drop a like on this video. If we could go for 452 likes, that would be absolutely incredible. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed, and let's get right into it. So when it comes down to the late game of Fortnite, you basically have three things pushing your motivation. Number one would be people that like to play defensive and are carrying and investing in that win and really want that win. Number two would be people that really just want to go for kills and don't care about their valuing high kills over the win. And then number three would be making the right play and somewhere in between. I think that on that scale, we all have our own levels and it all depends on the scenario. So if I'm in a, 4 players left with 14 kills, I probably don't want to go stupid aggressive there. I probably want to play it smart, try to get 1 or 2 more kills and convert on a 15+ kill win. However, if I'm late game with 1 kill and I don't really care about getting a 2 kill or 3 kill win, maybe it's time to go aggressive. It's all about goal setting, planning, and doing that. So here we have a situation where I have 5 kills and there are 4 players left, and this is a scenario where number one, when it comes down to late game, you want to notice where the natural cover is, and the natural cover as well, but natural high ground specifically is what I meant to say. Like right here, Haunted Hills, obviously the natural high ground is going to be on this hill over here. This player right there, nowadays that there's no glider redeploy in this game, it's always good when you do have an opportunity and when you have a position where, like right here, I had like whatever 600 500 ammo, shoot people down. Even if you don't get the kill, if they just take 50 60 fall damage, it can be very, very important, especially players who, most people carry shields over health, so if they don't have a campfire, sometimes players aren't able to heal up on that. So right here we have a scenario where the zone is pushing me. I get some damage on this player, 90 damage, and I want to push on this player, which is the right play right here. However, this guy is so far away where this is, once again, a scenario if I had a jump pad or a glider redeploy, I could close the gap a little bit quicker. But by the time I get over here, I realize this guy has definitely had time to pop minis. He could possibly be up to 200 health in total. And this is where it comes to a late game scenario. Now, if this fight was happening in the early game, of course, I would go full aggression and push that guy. However, I'm realizing, okay, I only have a limited amount of materials here, 1,300, and I have to push towards that way anyway when the next zones comes up. I also know there are third parties and even a fourth party available here. So I'm sort of stalking this player, keeping the high ground, waiting to see if I have any angle, and basically if that player tries to build up to me, gives me an angle, and I hit that guy for some big damage, that's when I can go for the finish. So this guy tries to build up once again. I'm able to shoot this guy down, and I think he does end up taking a little bit of fall damage there, or maybe no, I'm not sure. I start getting shot at from another angle, and this is where I make the decision. Zone is moving. I made the decision in my head here. I'm going to try to rotate to the next zone and not worry about the kills. And this was a game where I was playing kind of aggressive. I wanted that kill, but I realized here, okay, rotating is more important. And in this first gameplay here, I didn't have any jump pads. So when you don't have jump pads, you don't have impulse grenades or shockwave grenades. That's basically what you got to do is rotate manually using your materials. And you do end up burning quite a bit of materials when you are moving in like this. That's just something that happens. And it's always about rotating early is very important. However, in a situation like that where I was I couldn't really rotate early because I had tried to engage with that player, and I got myself into sort of a stuck situation where I was stalking that player, but I didn't want to fully engage because of the moving zone and third parties, and it kind of ended up being an awkward situation. So here we have a situation where everyone is moving, and this is where it's coming down to it. Players are above me moving. I realize I have like 500 health. Right here, there's a player below me, and there's a player above me, and I almost get caught right here, which is absolutely crazy. I immediately go to box up and place traps, which is something you want to do. In this season especially, boxing up, there's no real way to get into your box other than just stealing your wall. So I box up here. Luckily, the zone stops moving, and these players are all fighting each other. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to protect myself by boxing up, putting those traps in, putting the ramp over myself, and healing up before making this next rotation. So at this point, I realize I have 400 mats, and I got to start moving towards this way. So I want to take as much ground as I can, but I realize a player is behind me and in front of me. So at first, what I want to do is sort of tunnel my way in. This is something that can be very effective, especially if you have a lot of materials, sort of just tunneling your way in. And this isn't a full tunnel. This is sort of like a half tunnel. Shoot this player down. Right there, I try to go for high ground, and I make the decision right here because I realize this other player has a super duper high ground above me. I only have 16 builds left. I make the decision to drop down. If I had 3,000 mats there, I would have built up and challenged that player, but I was trying to save it, and I saved my mats for the last push right here. When I realized both players are on the low ground, I take the high ground with the 100 mats that I had there. I try to drop down here for an easy finish where you're above a player, you're shooting and jumping and catching yourself. However, I have no materials, so it gets a little dicey there at the end and I have to go down to normal ground, but I'm able to convert on that. Waiting and taking my time and making that push in a situation where I honestly I should have had more materials. I could have played that a little bit better, but when I got myself into that scenario where I could have pushed and challenged that player, I realized my material count, and that's what made me duck down and then readjust. Here we go with the second gameplay. Here is another one where I have 11 kills, or not 11 kills, 1 kill with 11 players left. So one where I wasn't really getting many kills. This guy, I get some nice hits on him with the scar, so I try to push. He, however, makes the rotation with the jump pad, which is fine by me because nowadays I would like to get that kill, but I might as well just take this guy's jump pad and make the rotation with him. And this is like I'm talking about earlier. Late game, you got to know what you're going for. In this scenario, I didn't really, personally, I don't really care about, I have a ton of solo wins. I don't personally really care about getting a 2 or 3 kill solo win unless I'm, there was a reason for me to do that. Right here, I was just in a chill mood. I'm like, okay, 1 kill. I'm going to push up and play aggressive. Not only is that an aggressive move, it's also the right move because look at my guns. I mean, green pump and blue SMG. So I've pushed that first player and boom, immediately players are on top of me right away and I'm boxing in. Now, this is a risky box because I don't own all the walls. I showed up late here. I only own this wall in front of me. So I'm trying to hold off here and I'm realizing multiple players are around here. And that's when I realized this box is risky. Not only is that box risky, I mean, it's super risky because I don't own any of it, but this whole building is risky. I try to drop down. This guy ends up sneaking through my builds, and it's always, these are not the places you want to be to fight. I take my time and get a 133, which is a pretty nice crack with the green pump. Now, I realize another player is on me and still spamming me, and right here what I'm doing is just holding this wall and making, basically buying time for me to make my move. I try to make the move there, but of course, if we were out in the open, this would have been a nice build fight where I could take this player on and hopefully win it. But these are the scenarios where at least me personally, I don't like fighting inside of here. I don't like, and I hear this guy popping mini, so I try to get up above to get some angle on him. But I mean, these are just super awkward fights. Reminds me of those good old, like back at Dusty Divot fights with you're building into trees and stuff like that. These are extremely awkward. So I end up getting out of there once I get 2 kills from inside and sort of waiting for this player to push me up here because I realized, look at my materials. I'm sitting pretty and I want to take it into a scenario where in there I kind of had a wall edit, and be really careful. Out here I can be more open and just it's more casual taking on a build fight out here because you have so much more space to work with. Anyway, this guy eventually does challenge me. I get some shots in there and honestly kind of miss some shots, which that was a little bit sloppy. But this is a weird scenario too because I still have a green pump in a top 6 game, and I think that I end up going to the end of the game with the green pump here, which is one of the downsides of a lower kill game, only having 1 kill moving into the top 10 or 11. Anyway, that player eventually pushes me like normal, and as you can see, a fight out here is a lot more clean than inside there where a lot of things can go wrong. So here we have a situation where 3 players left, aka 2 enemies and myself. I have a unbelievable amount of materials, an unbelievable amount of jump pads. This is sort of the opposite of last game. I don't have as many kills, but for some reason I was able to get many more supplies, or much more supplies. I don't know what the proper term is there, but I'm able to, use my metal here to build this super secure base where now I have pretty much no worries. And I also have 4 jump pads for making the next rotation. So at this point, all I'm doing, my mission here is to not get sniped and to gatekeep. I realize I am in the advantageous position. Last game, when I was 3 health boxed up with 3 traps, protecting myself with a campfire, I was in the worst position. I was in a super defensive position. Right here, I'm in an advantageous or aggressive position. So this is where, when it comes down to it, like I said, you don't really want to, there's no reason for me to go aggressive here. I mean, even if I charge each of these players, when you get down to a scenario where the zone is smaller and players are all around, you can't really single out enemies unless they're, tunneling in a box right in front of you or closer from other people. So right here, I realize, okay, I have 800 ammo. The other player is behind me to my right because I saw them fly in. This guy's messing up his edits a little bit, so I want to put as much pressure as I can on this player. Of course, probably I'm not going to get any damage when they're just holding like that. When they make a move and they're moving and building with the storm, that's where you can have, depending on how good that player is at moving and building, how good your aim or bloom is in that scenario, you can usually get some damage on that player. So I realize the other guy rotates around, start trying to put some shots into me. Boom. That's where I hit big damage for like 110 on this guy. I'm waiting to try to finish off this kill, but eventually, it ends up taking a little bit too long, and I just jump pad on out of here, which is very nice to have these jump pads, although you are kind of not a sitting duck, but a gliding duck in the air. I realized the other guy's right below me, so I wanted to move away from him. However, this is a small zone, and I kind of had to go over here, so I end up just dropping in, and this guy gets the high ground on me because he was sort of waiting for me like that. But I'm cool with that, and I'm, once again, in a scenario where I'm going to wait for my opportunity. I'm not going to try to just build up and let this guy shoot at me, because why not? Especially when there's another player who could either shoot me down or get some damage into me. I'm just going to chill, play this positioning, because I know I have a bunch of materials. I'm not really too worried. I can play defensive, and I can take the high ground when I want to. So right here, I'm getting ready. I realize this player drops down. I'm getting ready to take the high ground on this guy, but he ends up actually falling all the way down to the bottom, and I end up getting some good damage in. I hit that player for white health, so I realized this guy's probably like 60 or 70 health left, probably really low. I could have charged that guy to try to finish off that kill, which is what you would have done in a normal scenario, but this isn't a normal scenario. This is late game, and once again, I don't push off to get that kill. I just try to maintain my high ground, at least for a second there, which honestly I probably should have double or even triple reinforcing that because of how many materials I had. I end up dropping down, taking on this last engagement, and you can see the other player I think ended up just dying to the storm or whatever anyway. And here we're in a scenario where, once again, it is kind of awkward having just the green pump for late game, but I'm in a scenario where I'm just boxing up. I'm waiting for my opportunity once again, and then when I have that opportunity, I'm going to probably either try to take the high ground or try to take my shot in on this player. Once again, I get that chance, I take the high ground, and usually high ground is what you want to have late game, even nowadays where you don't have gliders or anything like that. I mean, just maintaining that high ground, as long as it's not too high where and it's securely built. Here I'm in a position, see, when I have the high ground over this guy, I can block him off, and I can do a position where I can jump, and get a shotgun shot off, and then catch myself. So even if I miss that shot, the risk is a little bit smaller. Right there, see, I'm jumping, I'm taking a shot, and I'm trying to catch myself, and eventually I end up finishing off the game just like that. He shoots me down, my shotgun is already out when his SMG is out, and boom, a nice crack for a win. Hopefully this video did help you guys out going through decision making, end game, late game strategies. Drop a like if you made it to the end, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Catch you on the next one, and I'm out. Peace.